And there are a lot of people that are saying that about Dez Bryant as well, who comes in at number 15 on this list, the fourth best wide receiver. I think a lot of people could make a pretty strong argument that he should be number one, including maybe number 88 himself, who took to Twitter, and this is what he had to say. LOL.
LOL, Lindsay. LOL. Hey, Dez, now I didn't vote for you. You said NFL Network. I didn't vote because I would have put you in the top 10 easy. All
He's
day,
just
every
making
day.
sure we see it. He knows that we didn't put together this list, right?
I
That
didn't
this
make
is
the
all
list.
about the players.
I'm not in the NFL
D.
anymore.
Hall, did you vote this man number 15? It's on you.
No, I did not vote him 15, man. Dez is definitely a top 10 dude to me, so I don't know where they came out with this at.
How did this happen then? Gentlemen, opinions.
You know, I think when it comes down to receivers, you don't want to front load the top 10 group of guys. We got Antonio, we got Calvin Johnson. You got guys that are automatically going to be in there. They're trying to figure out a place to put Dez, but when it comes to respect and fear and that combination, Dez is right there at the top of the list.
Yeah, why are Antonio and Calvin automatic, but Dez is not? I feel like he is right in the mix with those guys.
Well, I think statistically, Antonio just bursted on the scene, and his separation at the top of his routes is a combination of seeing him score touchdowns on a weekly basis and make plays, and then also his route running ability. Calvin, he's been doing it for such a long time, so you almost give him the grace of being the best because he's been the best for so long.
And see, that's part of it. Whether you look at what you did in the past, what you're expected to do, I think you can say that about Calvin, that he's going to be there. We know that, and that big body, Megatron's going to be there. I think you can say, Antonio, he's just so fast, man. I told you before, that puts fear in defenders hard because you can't teach that speed. But Dez is another guy that's going to do it week in and week out. And now I'm going to turn to a guy who has to battle him twice every season. What do you think? Where do you rank him with those three guys?
No, I mean, you're right on, ED. You know, you got a guy in Antonio Brown who, you know, he's such a great route runner that he does kind of have you, you know, studying film a little bit longer at night, just trying to figure out a way to stop him. And then you got Big Megatron, who's just that big body, and like you said, has been doing it for a long time in this league. And, you know, Dez is kind of a mixture of both of those guys. He can run those crisp routes, but he's big enough, too, that, you know, if that ball's in the air, he can battle you for it. And, you know, 9 out of 10 times, he wins those battles, man. He is a real man out there on that field. I don't think a lot of people understand when they get up on him, you know, how big and strong, you know, he really is. But, you know, like you said, you can't really deny those other two guys, but Dez is another guy, man. If you were picking a team and you had all three of those guys, you could pick them out of a hat and pick one, and I guarantee you'll be ecstatic if you got either one of those guys, man. You wouldn't really care which one you got because all three of them can win a lot of games for you.
We've got some reaction here on Twitter. One person who says Julio Jones and Antonio Brown are both beasts, but not better than Dez Bryant. Tomer Ronan, I hope I'm saying that right, also says Julio Jones is not better than Dez Bryant, and I'm a Giants fan. So getting some reaction there.
A lot of similarity between those two players. We were talking about that, Nate. You know, you look at the body types and the way they play the game. There's some similarities between Dez and Julio. Megatron and Antonio, different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
But those two guys are similar in what they do. So I can see them being ranked there. But it's hard. It's hard when you see the production that both of those guys are having and just the way Dez does it to not see him in the top 10. That's just what I'm saying with Dez.
Since this group of guys, they're so close statistically and athletically, I'm going to throw out a variable that could gain some separation. And D-Hall, you could talk about it a little bit. Dez Bryant is one of the best blocking receivers in this league. Now, if they're all catching balls and they're all running good routes and they're all making plays and scoring touchdowns, what's that X factor? What's that little thing that separates them from that group? And in my opinion, I feel like Dez, he does that better than any receiver in the league. And that's going to put him in the top 10. If you're scoring touchdowns and making plays, and then you're going out there blocking for DeMarco Murray, allowing him to get to the second level, and he doesn't just block just to block. He's out there ferocious. He blocks just like he runs routes with passion.
Did he block you, D-Hall?
He tried. He tried. But no, like you said, I mean, all those guys athletically, physically, I mean, you can put them, like I said, you can put those guys in the barrel, man. You can even add Demaryius Thomas to that equation, man. He's another guy who's big, strong, fast, great hands. And, you know, all these guys have great quarterbacks throwing them the ball as well. So, you know, all those guys, man, you can just put them in a box, man. And all those guys, to me, are great receivers and deserve, you know, to be a little higher on this list.